So, becoming an indie author does come with some regrets. And my biggest regret is actually not starting sooner. You see, the thing that I, the way that I approached publishing was at a level of dang near perfection, right? When we look at books, we always look at the finished product. We looked at this like polished version of a story that got pushed through traditional publishing. And we think that we have to be this perfect thing, right? In order for us to be worthy of publication, per se. I spent years, years honing my craft. I read, not read, I wrote. I wrote multiple books before I ever dared to hit that publish button on Kindle, direct publishing, KDP, Amazon KDP. And it wasn't until other people read my book and other people found value in it. It wasn't until then that I realized that, like, my story is worth it. My stories are worth it. My skills are enough. And I can do this. Because indie publishing is so easy. There are so many people who are literally publishing AI videos, not videos, cheese and crackers. I'm getting back into talking. But there are so many people who are just publishing countless AI books and just doing multiple a day. Like, the market is super oversaturated. You can literally publish a book whenever the heck you feel like it. And because of that, there's a stigma that, like, carries with independent publishing, that it's going to be low quality, that it's might not actually be worth it. And because society and traditional publishing sets the standards and the bar so low for independent publishing, I wish I would have started sooner. Because there are people out there who have never written creatively, who for the very first time is opening up their writing software, is picking up a notebook and creating something for the very first time. And then when they're done, guess what they do? They hit publish. And even if it's not like 100% great, some of them are still getting the attention. They're getting the love. Not all of them. If you are out here just like publishing mess that needs to be cleaned up, then that can show as well. But what I'm getting at here is that I waited until I felt like someone who was in the publishing industry trusted that I was a good writer. I needed somebody else to tell me that I was a good writer before I myself believed it enough to put my works out there and to become an author instead of just a writer. And the reason I say that I regret not starting sooner is because a lot of what I am going through right now, a lot of this like trial period, and I've been doing this for a year and I'm still calling this a trial period, but a lot of this trial period, a lot of this getting used to this part, talking to the internet, talking about my books, things of that nature. This is something that I could have been practicing, something that I could have gotten into years ago. And I do mean years ago. I finished my first book my first year of college. I finished the 2 books after that throughout college. I wrote another book a couple months after I started my first job. Before I published, I had written 5 novels. And obviously, well, not obviously, but as you write, you get better. You continue to go. You continue to grow. And they got better and better over time, which is why the 5th novel I wrote was actually the first novel that I published. Now, do I wish that I would have published my very first novel in the state that it's in? No. But what I do wish is that I would have put the effort into being an author, because I know that all this stuff is just going to come with time. And I wish that I wasn't so gung-ho on making sure that the stories was perfect before I jumped into it. And I do mean this, like, to the point of the first like books that I wrote, like original books that I wrote, was intended to be a trilogy. It is a trilogy. I said I did not want to publish the first book until I had the entire trilogy written, because I didn't want the inconsistencies of writing to be seen. So I did not publish. I did not go back and deeply edit the first book or anything until all 3 books was written. Now all 3 books are written and I continue to write more things, and I still need to go back to that first book because that first book is at a way different level of writing than I am now. And I am going to go back. I am going to redo it. But if I would have just accepted where I was and put out a decent book, I would have gotten so much more time and practice in being an author. And you, as the reader, would have been able to see that growth in me as well. One of the things that I intentionally do is I use projects as practice points for things that I know I need to work on for future novels. And in this sense, I feel like I may be like backstepping a bit, because I know that a lot of the things that I am pretty good at now when it comes to my writing are things that were practiced in that original trilogy that I wrote. So now I have to go back there and fix all of that. When, again, if I would have just accepted where I was then and published anyways, then I wouldn't need to do this backtracking. And then there also is the matter of traditional publishing, right? When they call it the query trenches, they mean it. Who are they? They are all the other writers of the world who have put themselves through this aspect of trying to get your book traditionally published. It is truly a deep struggle in the matter of It's truly a deep struggle to get your book traditionally published in a matter of you have to first get an agent. And getting an agent is so much harder than you think, or so much easier for some people. I don't know. Sometimes for some people it feels like agents just fall out of the sky. But for others, you send hundreds of query letters out to get a couple people who are like, maybe, but no. And to get hundreds of rejections, hundreds of people telling you, this is not good enough. You are not good enough. And because this does not come with any feedback, the level of rejection that you receive the level of rejection that I received when attempting traditional publishing wasn't something that I was like, oh, you lose and you learn. It wasn't a learning experience, because you're just losing and no one is telling you why. You don't know what is done, what is the reason. It wasn't until I was creating Blue Lights when I actually got some feedback uh from a couple of agents who were able to tell me that the story is good, that the writing is good, that I was engaged, but the story is not marketable. I can't sell it. I don't know who I will sell it to. I don't know how to market this. And that was for me when it was enough, when I was enough, when I heard from them that the story is good. The writing is not the problem. The problem is the marketability of it. The problem is I don't know how to sell it. I don't know how to sell it either, but I can try. I'm willing to try because I know that, at least writing wise, I'm putting out something that is quality. And I feel like I didn't need to wait until someone else told me that this was quality for me to put it out. I could have just did it. But I always want to do everything the right way and the easy way. Not saying that traditional publishing is easy. I know it's not, but like to have somebody to be here to like do this part, to gather an audience. I would have loved to have that. But the thing about independent publishing is that you are independent. You are on your own. And everything is up to you. Ain't it fun? But regardless, I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that I'm getting out of my comfort zone and I'm doing more things. I, in fact, am, after wrapping up this video, about to finish packing to head to set up for my first book festival. So this is exciting. And I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't pushed that publish button, you know? I got the chance to see in person the way that my books have affected people and the way that people connect with them, react to them. I always said that I just wanted to make people feel. That has always been what intrigued me most about writers, is the ability to use words on a piece of paper to make people feel whatever emotion you want them to feel. And that was always a power that I wanted to have. And it's something that I have. Something that I was just looking through reviews of Blue Lights, printing some off so that way like people could see it at the book festival if they wanted to see some reviews. And seeing just like the amount of people who cling to in the reviews, like the emotions, like I felt so much. so many emotions packed inside of such a small book. Just the feelings are there. So for anyone who's out there in the query trenches, fighting, I was fighting for years, fighting to get that agent. I say just try it. Publish the book. Put in a real effort. Give it some time and see what happens. Because I feel like once you do it, the only real regret you'll have is not doing it sooner. That's it for today. I'm RV Allister, author of Blue Lights, Black Lights, A Little Broken, and more. Constantly writing. I'm about to go to this book festival, and I'll see you again soon.